Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court with the Edijester. Here, toddlers. We're going to talk about toddlers. Toddlers, right? Transphobic toddlers. Do you know it sounds like a video nasties from 1984 that somebody made in their garage? Transphobic toddlers. Never before has terror been seen like it. Transphobic toddlers. Yes, I know your credulity may well be stretched to its very limits, as today we discuss the subject of a toddler kicked out of nursery for being transphobic. Child suspended from state school for abuse against sexual orientation and gender identity, official figures show. A toddler was suspended from nursery after being accused of being transphobic or homophobic, the Telegraph can reveal. Department for Education data show the child aged either 3 or 4 was suspended from a state school in the 2022-23 academic year for abuse against sexual orientation and gender identity. Abuse against sexual by a toddler. Right, now, I'm not very good with those tiny, oh dear, children, right? What do you call them? A toddler, right, is like my mate who's got a grandchild. Barely speaks, just walks around bothering folk. That's a toddler, isn't it? Little tiny, right? Little thing. But before we go on, come be a warrior teacher starting in a few weeks. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, going to be fun. Come and join the team or buy me a coffee. The usual stuff is my birthday coming up. So I'm going to emotionally blackmail a lot of you. It's my birthday. So let's crack on because this is just surreal. Bloody toddler. The school and further details of the case were not disclosed. I mean, are you surprised by that? I certainly am not surprised by that. But statistics show that 94 pupils at state primary schools have been suspended or permanently excluded for transphobia and homophobia in 2022-23. These included 10 pupils from year 1 and 3 from year 2, where the maximum age is 7. One of these included a child of nursery age, the data shows. Okay, right. Okay. Now, first off, a couple of things I'll note from this. I don't like the conflation of sexual orientation with gender identity. They need to stop doing that. Because obviously one is a thing that's real, the other one is a made-up load of guff. Really? Right, okay. Seems too crazy to believe, says the sort of medium headline. It comes after the Telegraph revealed that children as young as 5 are being kicked out of schools for attacking their teachers or fellow pupils amid an alarming rise in ill discipline in Britain's schools. Helen Joyce, Director of Advocacy at Sex Matters, said, "Every once in a while, the extremes of gender ideology throw up a story that seems too crazy to believe, and a toddler being suspended from nursery for so-called transphobia or homophobia is one such example. Worse still, this is not an isolated case. Apparently 13, 4 and 5-year-olds were suspended or permanently excluded from school for the same reason. Teachers and school leaders involved in this insanity should be ashamed of themselves for projecting adult concepts and beliefs onto such young children." And there you go. Adult concepts and beliefs. They don't, you see, what we got to remember is about queer theorists, because people get really animated about things like drag queen story time and all the stuff that comes with it. Well, they get, it's inappropriate. Never mind inappropriate. It's what they teach them you got to worry about. And this is an example of that, is that they don't see a differentiation between adult and children. That's the problem, right? Pure Butler nonsense, Judith Butler nonsense. They don't see it. Teachers and school leaders involved should be ashamed, said Helen. It's unforgivable for children's vital early education to be so traumatically disrupted by school leaders who prioritise activists' demands over their charges of well-being. Well, I've got a problem with the word well-being, but there you go. Across all state primary schools, the number of pupils suspended or expelled for homophobic or transphobic behaviour increased from 164 in 2021-22 to 178 in 22-23. The largest number of suspensions and exclusions for this reason in 2022-2023 was in Essex, followed by Birmingham, Bradford and Norfolk. The data has been collected since 2020-21 academic year, and students can be excluded for multiple reasons. Well, we think, along comes Toby. Good old Toby from Lord Young, the director of the Free Speech Union, says it beggars belief that schools are suspending children as young as 5 for breaching their transphobia policy. I would have thought if your ideology is so rigid It justifies you punishing toddlers for not complying with it. That's a powerful argument for discarding it in favour of something less dogmatic, do you think? Do you reckon, Tobes? It's just insane. The data also show the number of expulsions and suspensions are increased since the pandemic. In 22-23 academic year, 787,221 pupils were suspended across England's schools. I don't find that figure worrying or, quite frankly, relevant. Not generally. Suspension's not expulsion, is it? Suspension is you're a monster. Get out for a bit. That's suspension, isn't it? Providing that what they've done warrants suspension, which in most cases I imagine it would. Of these, some 84,000 were primary school students, an increase of 31% from 64,000. I don't have a problem with any of that. Genuinely, I don't, right? I don't think we expel enough, frankly, and I don't think we suspend enough either, and certainly schools are run without the kind of discipline that I think is going to be required in the future because of the fact that we've had so many nonsense, feckless ideas fed into the population over God knows how many years. Students facing permanent exclusion increased by 21% to 9,377 in 2023. Well, that doesn't seem like many. Although the number of primary pupils excluded has fallen 4.2%. The trend does not appear to be slowing. The latest figures for the 2023 autumn term show suspensions for all reasons jumped by 41% in primary schools. Permanent exclusions increased by a third. All pupils and staff, said the DfE spokesman, should feel safe and protected at school and should never face violence or abuse. The Education Secretary has been clear that she expects school leaders to enforce good behaviour, and we are committed to a comprehensive programme of behaviour support for schools. Our plan for change sets out relentless focus on making sure every child gets the best life chances, no matter their background, including establishing free breakfast, all the stuff where you take the place of the parent. Because how much of this has got to do with taking the place of the parent? It's an interesting question that we ought to be asking ourselves, and I don't think we're asking ourselves that question anywhere near loudly enough. We certainly should be. So it's no surprise then to go on to the fact that Starmer does not support suspension of transphobic Toddler. Don't you? Gosh, thanks, Keir. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to show adolescents in every school so that we can make sure this propaganda is shoved down everybody's throat. There you go. It's absolutely deranged. What the hell is going on? If we have a situation whereby they're enforcing this nonsense, and they're doing it because they're forced teaming it with sexual orientation, and they're also interfering in children's lives in a way that they shouldn't be. That's half the problem. We've also seen Charlotte Gill has produced some interesting work on a training provider called Tender, who's going to be involved in this adolescence nonsense. It's so creepy. They've got a pyramid of hate whereby people that fart in lifts end up committing genocide. It's all nonsense. The whole lot of it is absolute abject bloody nonsense. Sorry, but it is. All right. So you let me know what you think, because I'm sure you will, as usual, in the Dubras, and I'll catch up with you later. All right. What time is it? It's 3:41. I've got work to do. I'll see you later. Ta! Bye bye.